others who want to share back there?
The strength of America arises from her people. Our position in the global order has given us a responsibility and an opportunity to work towards improving the planet which we call our home. I urge each of you to take steps in your lives and your communities to implement our vision of hope. I would urge you to invest in sustainability through the purchase of local, organic, and fair trade foods, to invest your time in religious and interfaith initiatives of compassion and understanding, to invest in the education and the well-being of youth at home and abroad. I urge you to use your voice and spread this message of hope. The task is large, but it is not a task at which we must work alone. Our allies, the moderates throughout the world, stand at our side. Fellow Americans, it is time to act. Let us roll up our sleeves and use our ingenuity to reach out. Let us build global friendships characterized by mutual understanding and commitment to the common values of liberty and justice for all.
Anyone else want to share an example? Okay. I think that is the dream speech. Unless there's anyone that wants to share their conclusions or anything like that. One more chance. All right, great. That was wonderful. Let's give everyone a round of applause. So, now having come through the whole process, what do people think are some of the kind of lessons that you might take away, having heard a lot of different people share bits and pieces of their dream speeches? What really kind of struck a chord with you throughout the process? Anyone? Yeah.
It's come to my understanding that we can't be an us against them mindset anymore. It has been around for too long. It doesn't allow us to come together as well as we should be able to.
Right. Other things that people are taking away from the exercise? Yeah.
It was kind of difficult because we needed to come at this with the perspective of when you give a State of the Union address, the president has to realize that there are people out there that won't agree with him. He needs to kind of find that balance and try to instill, giving that pride to energizing and making the American public catch on to his ideas, even though some are dead set against him to begin with. So it was just interesting trying to write kind of a State of the Union address or a dream speech, and trying to get to unite the American people when it's rather obvious that that situation is totally against what we're doing.
Right. Any other takeaways? Yeah.
One of many things that I think I've gotten from this conference as well as the dream speech is that we are communication is key in this world, as well as we cannot only force others to do what we would like to do, but diplomacy is very important in this day and age, as well as something that I've gathered is that we must not just help those in need, but help those help themselves.
Right. Any other takeaways we want to share? We can move to the general conference now. Yeah.
Well, the general conference, what they sort of away from us is that while we have a duty to help the world, we only should help the world who wants to be helped. That we have to work with our allies to, in total, deal with issues like pollution, poverty, all those things. But that if we try to only use force to do it and say that we know we're right, then we're inviting disaster. And as for this specific exercise, one thing to take away from this is that writing a speech in 3 minutes, each part, is really hard.
Any other takeaways? Yeah.
Before I started writing this, I was like, how am I going to, sorry, while I was writing this, I was thinking to myself how empowering it is to think, oh, these decisions and these speeches that people write and these decisions that people make, these are just people making decisions and people deciding what's going on, and it really is kind of empowering to do it yourself, because then you think, maybe I can do this too.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So it really is empowering to think that, you know, all of this is driven by people, as sometimes human as, you know, we are. It also means that there's a possibility for change. Any other, yeah, right here and then back there.
I'm just struck by how much I feel as though I'm able to do, and in writing this I see it in my own words, and how much you know, the individual is able to do, and how much I'm going to be able to do after this conference. I feel like I've taken so much away. It's going to stay with me for a while.
Great, that's wonderful to hear. Back there, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, I think that our generation has always felt really disconnected from one another, and although that might be true, at least at this conference, I think we have found that we have a lot of common ideals and a lot of hopes for the future, and it's just a matter of communicating and getting together in order to get things done, and I think that's like the most important thing I can take away from this conference.
Great. Yeah, over here.
I think it motivated me at least to learn more about everything. Like, you know, some of the stuff I had known about and I was actively engaged in it, and then other stuff I'd never known about, and I can't wait to get back and research it. And I think as teenagers it's really important that we start reading about these things, so when the time comes around we can start running for office, and we can, you know, start motivating younger generations to actually pick up a newspaper, read it, and then question it. So.
Great. Other examples you want to share? Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I thought it was exciting to hear all the enthusiasm and passion, and I thought really authentic voices that everyone shared about their speeches. So I think we could accomplish great things.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's end the kind of, you know, love fest there. I really enjoy these things, and the reason is that, you know, we work behind your emails for quite a bit of the time, so seeing all of the energy in person and feeling like you all have connected on an issue that you share is really exciting for us. And one thing that I think is really awesome about our generation, and it came out in the parting thoughts, is that we are living, us, in an interconnected world, and we are really attuned to it because we're connecting via email with people from around the world, reading, you know, Al Jazeera or other newspapers online, studying abroad. And I think because we live in a country that is part of this interdependent world, but isn't actually living the interconnectedness except for made in China labels a lot of times, there's a sense that the common identity that we feel isn't really there. And so I hope that having everyone here that shares that experience kind of teaches what a big part of the country we are, and also I think gives you hope for the future, because just as Jeff talked about his example of 7 people starting what turned out to be a historical movement, I think you can imagine how, you know, the interconnectedness that our generation is a part of really has the potential to change the way that the U.S. envisions its role in the world. Because, you know, you just can't imagine that if it continues to develop with, you know, young people, really I think across the board, feeling a greater sense of connection with others, that we could continue to have military as our only real governmental interaction with the rest of the world. And I think that as this spreads, it will seep up, and we'll start to see the types of exchange and development and common and mutual respect that so many of us are hoping for in our dream speeches. So it's been awesome to be with you all. We have a couple of wrap-up thoughts, I believe, so I'll turn it over to Jennifer for those. And I just want to close for our part in saying thank you so much to the Stanley Foundation. If we can give them a round of applause, they've been incredible partners. And we are very lucky. For those who are wondering how everything was run so well.